What's going on YouTube? This is Top Gun Maverick Pilot here in DCS World, and today I'll be talking about the AV8B Harrier. So for a couple of weeks I've been busy because of the holidays and doing other things as well. So I am back on the Harrier and I've read through this manual, and I have to say it isn't a complicated aircraft. So my first question is, where's the actual manual for DCS World? There's none. So there still isn't a manual for DCS World. Therefore, I had to find and utilize the legitimate manual for the AV8B Harrier. This is from the actual U.S. military. This is literally from the U.S. This is from the U.S. Command. It's a Navy model and the Marine Corps model of the AV8B Harrier. So, therefore, I had to look through this one. So, today I'll be talking about takeoffs on the AV8B Harrier. I have an abundance of questions because I had to look through them because it's a lot harder. It seemed like for the takeoffs, there are many on YouTube, but they don't exactly say what kind of takeoffs are there because there are a lot. So let's go ahead and talk about the weight because that does have to do, that's extremely crucial within the takeoffs. So let's go ahead and find it. So weights. Alright, so you got the gross weight, don't need it. Weight limitations, there you go, 414. Alright, so here's the page 414. Weight limitations. First, the maximum gross weight for taxi and takeoff is 32,000 pounds. Okay, so 32,000 pounds is the most. To move around, to start moving from the parking area to taxi to take off is 32,000 pounds. You go over that, the aircraft won't move or you'll completely damage it. Furthermore, avoid abrupt maneuvering and hard braking at taxi gross weights above 29,750 pounds. That makes sense. So that means if you're above 29,750 pounds, be very careful turning sharp turns and do abrupt movements on a taxi because you're probably going to tip over or damage the aircraft. Makes sense. Now, the maximum gross weight for landing is 26,000 pounds. So that means when you take off at 32,000 pounds, you better lose weight and you better lose all those missiles and all those bombs that's carrying you down. All that weight needs to be gone. So do your mission, waste some gas, and come back within 26,000 pounds. That's for landing. So I understand that. Now, my question is, what's the weight limitations for a vertical takeoff? It's certainly not 32,000 pounds because I tried that. I tried it even with the proper procedures and making sure, you add the water and you stabilize. You try to do that hover the AV8B Harrier. I tried all that and no, it wouldn't even lift up the ground. 32,000 pounds is a hell no. So I'm looking through this manual and I have to say, prove me wrong, guys. Someone prove me wrong. Give me the actual nomenclature and the actual page number if you found what's the vertical takeoff maximum weight, because it's not here either. So let's continue on, okay? So this is my video about the different types of takeoffs. So let's do vertical takeoffs and let's go from there. So vertical takeoff. Alright, so there are 4 methods, guys. 4 methods of takeoffs on the AV8B Harrier. This is extremely important because there are some takeoffs that they said it's just a takeoff. Here's a vertical takeoff and that's it. So you don't precisely say what exact takeoffs are there. So my video is going to be just by this actual flight manual, and there's going to be 4 takeoffs. 4. Alright. So the first one is the vertical takeoff. It's the one that you see in the air show where it just flies straight up. It starts hovering like a cool aircraft, like, oh my god, I want to be a pilot, blah blah blah. That's the vertical takeoff, FTO. The second one is the rolling vertical takeoff. That's when you're an aircraft carrier and you got some room, but you still had to keep the momentum and some airspeed, and then have that to aid you to take off. So that's on an aircraft carrier that you see on many YouTube videos. Is the rolling vertical takeoff. Okay, it's not a regular takeoff. It's rolling. So you roll and then you hover up, and then you're gonna stall a little bit, but you're gonna continue on with the momentum of the airspeed and inertia to continue flying, and then going on a regular aircraft or a regular takeoff. The third one is the short takeoff, STO. Self-explanatory. That's a regular runway, and instead of going on a full distance, you do a short takeoff. You can also do a short takeoff on a Cessna. You can also do a short takeoff on a Grumman and other aircrafts. On this aircraft, you can do a short takeoff, but it's not what you think, where it has to be on the aircraft carrier. That's not considered a short takeoff, because it is short, don't get me wrong, but the method you have to use, it's you have to roll, then you have to vertical takeoff, because you still got ammunition, you still got weight, and you still have to go on a combat mission on an aircraft carrier to your mission, then come back. It's still not going to add that pounds, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So rolling vertical takeoff, the short takeoff, then the conventional takeoff, which is the regular takeoff, the CTO. So you got the VTO, RVTO, STO, CTO. So the CTO is the regular takeoff, where you go on the airport and you're on a delta, and then you're just taking off, and just like that. that's the CTO. So there is no weight limitations on any of these except for the conventional takeoff, which is at 32,000 pounds. It doesn't talk about the short takeoff weight limit, definitely not the rolling vertical takeoff limit, and certainly not the vertical takeoff, because I tried at 32 for the vertical takeoff, rolling vertical takeoff, and a short takeoff. It's not going to happen. Alright, so I'm going to take off everything here. I'm going to take everything off from here. Don't need it. Even the sidewinders. Let's just leave it at 100%. Okay? It's going to be like a regular flight. Just doing that. Alright, so it's the fuel's on full. It's already full. So that's fine. And then it's going to take off every single ordnance out of this aircraft. Alright, so let's go back to V-stall. Let's put the nozzle into the V-stall mode. Let's put the water to takeoff mode. Alright, so the aircraft is moving. That means they're taking off the ordnance. It kind of like jerked a little bit. There you go. 3, 2, rearming complete. 1. There you go. Alright. So let's just take off. Holy crap, that was fast. Look at that. Really fast. So I added 4 Maverick missiles, the TV, and then the ECM on each wing. So it's going to be full fuel. Let's see how that's going to work out. So 11,667 kilograms is going to be 25,721 pounds. So let's see if that's going to work for us. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the procedure. So it's going to be unstall. This is going to be on takeoff. Alright, and then let's go ahead and start. So make sure it said the brakes are in. Alright, set it at starting at 50. Alright, here we go.
Rearming complete.
Nothing. Alright.
Request refueling.
What's 11,000? Let's just put it 11,000. Let's try this again.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm trying to hover. Nothing. Alright. So that didn't work either. So that was at what, 11,000? Or 10,000? Jeez, y'all. Okay. This is starting to be... So,
request refueling.
10,064. Okay, so let's do that.
Rearming complete.
There you go. Jeez. Alright, here we go. That took a while. Here we go. Oh, wait, what are we doing? Oh, wow, look, we're hovering. And take off. That was a vertical takeoff. Keep it going. Keep the airspeed. And airspeed is alive. Maverick missile. There we go. Maverick missiles. I need this pod in order to TV. And you know what? I need not the Sidewinder. Let's just put the ECM pods. Let's just do that. Alright, so it's definitely not going to take off at 11,000. But it might take off at... Let's put it 60. Let's see that. There we go. Go ahead and have it at... Oh wow, look at that. There he goes, hovering. Okay, so well, look at that. So this configuration is perfect. Alright, so let's go ahead. So I'm hovering. Keep it going. It's like it's struggling, so keep it going. Alright, so it's adding airspeed. So in conclusion, you're going to lose a lot on a vertical takeoff on the AV8B Harrier. So on a combat load, you're going to expect to lose over 40% of fuel. That's a lot. So I'm glad I did this segment. This is my first segment, and it was about the flight manual on the AV8B Harrier, the weight limitations, and introduction on a vertical takeoff. So on an empty load, 100% of fuel, you could easily take off. It's very fast, very easy. You don't have to worry about the wind direction and the knots of the wind. But once you start adding ordnance to this aircraft, it really adds up really quick. And then you have to sacrifice the fuel load, or you have to do a light combat load. But going on the multiplayer servers, you're not going to do a light combat load on the AV8B Harrier. Because remember, you only got 4 main pylons, and then you got the Sidewinder missiles or the ECM pods. So with that being said, it's really difficult on the AV8B Harrier on a vertical takeoff. So my vertical takeoff, the most that I did was 10,600 kilograms. If you go over that, you're not going to fly this aircraft off the ground. So if you're thinking going on a heavier load, the next step is the rolling vertical takeoff, which I'll be doing on my next segment. I'll be talking about the rolling vertical takeoff on an aircraft carrier. So I'm glad I did this segment. It talked about the basic fundamentals of the flight manual, where you can find it, the abundance of information, and the weight limitations, and something about the vertical takeoff. As long as you read the manual and do the proper procedures, you'll be fine. And if you understand the wind direction and how many knots, that should aid you on this vertical takeoff. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video, and next will be the rolling takeoff.